fabulous wine called 81. Yes, it's a Cabernet Sauvignon Blanc. Or no, I'm sorry. It's a Cabernet Sauvignon. Read that wrong. Okay. I guess I'm too excited. And
haven't even had any wine yet.
Right? Not even a sip. Well, this is going to be good.
Yes, this is going to be good.
And to create the ambiance, we had his candle too, which smells amazing, by the way. So pick that up. Okay. All right. Let's try this.
Listen to that red pour.
It's so good.
All right.
So good.
I love red wine.
Oh, yes. This has got to be good because Terrell doesn't put his name on anything that's trash. We know that, huh?
Yes, so I'm really excited to try it.
Yes, okay.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, cheers.
Cheers. Let's try this. This better be good, Terrell. I'm lying. I know it's good. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
This is nice.
I could finish this whole bottle.
I think during the pandemic, the pandemic is still going on, I think. I don't know, but I digress. During lockdown, I think people became alcoholics. Maybe never ever drank before because I feel like we would stay up and drink.
We would.
Wine.
Plenty of them.
Yes, bottles. Just sitting on the couch.
Why not?
Groundhog
Nothing
Day
else
over
to
and
do.
over.
We'll wine taste in our living room on the couch in our pajamas all day.
All day. All right. So today's topic.
Yes.
I want to talk about rock bottom. Okay. I want to talk about what has been your lowest point in your life.
Whew. Many.
But what has been a low point in your life that that you really grew from?
Oh.
I can go first.
No, okay, so everyone has gone through loss, right?
Right.
I can remember there's two specific times that I know that was not at my it was pretty low. My mother died, and for those that who have watched the podcast know that we didn't have the greatest relationship. So my mom passed away. She said her apologies and what she needed to say before she passed. So I was very grateful for that. But within the span of a couple years, my stepfather died. He was found unconscious 3 days after he died.
Oh my gosh.
We didn't. My stepdad was really great at making a phone call to all of his children, and for some reason that week we had never heard from him, and I was calling my brother like, "Hey, go check on Dad. We haven't heard from him." And he's like, "Yeah, I'll go check on him." And then I'm going about my day, and I'm in the car, and then my brother calls me hysterically like, "Dad's dead," So, and I'm in the car with my children, and he's on speakerphone. And that day I had to pull my sister out of work and tell my sister at work because I help raise my sister. And so that, right? And then right after that, my grandmother who helped raise me died. And then less than 24 hours, my grandfather died.
Wow.
That was low.
Yeah.
So, don't want to get emotional. So that was a low point. But just because I felt like all of my my support system. I still have my biological father, who I'm very close with. My dad played overseas for a while, and so he wasn't around all the time, but he was around. But so my support system that was there was just gone within, quick, right after the next. And I had just started my family, and just to have that support system not there, that was really low for me. So I had to sit back. How I got out of that low point was, I realized every single one, even though I didn't have a great relationship with my mother, they all left me with positive things that I could take on to raise my children.
Wow. That's beautiful.
Yeah. Thank you. So just knowing that, yes, they weren't here. Yes, they can't physically hold them anymore. Because my daughter gosh, my son was still in my stomach when my mom died. And then he was just born when my stepdad died. So it was like right after. And then right after that, both grandparents died. So yeah, it was a lot. It was a lot. So, but just knowing that, they weren't going to be here, but they had left me with these tools and these memories and these sayings or just stuff, in memories that I could pass on to my children. That's how I got out of that low point.
So you just focused on the good?
The good.
But how did you really deal with that's so much grief? It's so much loss. How did you?
I don't know if I dealt with it, and I don't know if it'll come up later. You know me, I'm a very optimistic person, and my husband goes, gosh, you always see the positive in everything. I'm like, because everything is good. Like, even the lowest for me is always, I'm like, it'll this too shall pass. Like I have to, even the worst cases, I have to take the best out of the situation. I'm like, oh, well, look at that.
You're really good. I mean, what I love about you is like, no matter what bad thing happens, you're really good at letting go.
Have to.
Yeah. And I think that's the important part in healing, is letting go of, trauma, letting go of things that have happened, the bad things that have happened. And like you said, taking from the good and moving forward. Right. And so that's like your testament, to that's how you, process things and live your life, organically.
And maybe that is my self-counseling.
Yeah, I'm like, I went to therapy. Right. To learn to do that.
I was just born with it.
Process, and I was like, oh my God, I don't want to let it go because they hurt me.
Amen to therapy.
Okay, so that will lead me into my rock bottom.
Oh, let's hear it.
I've had a couple of low points, but I think that my rock bottom was when I got a divorce. And it was specifically rock bottom because I was a new mom. Yeah. And even though, I didn't want the divorce, I knew that that's what had to happen.
No one gets married to get divorced.
No one gets married to get divorced. And specifically, like, I had been sexually abused by a man, and I just didn't want a man, okay, I don't want Okay, we have to go back. Okay.
No, go back. Rewind it.
Okay. Specifically, I was, no one gets married to get divorced. Yeah. So I didn't want, because I was sexually abused when I was a child, I really wanted my daughter to be in the home with her father. Okay. Like, that was something that I was just so, like, that's what I really wanted.
Like security?
Yeah, because I just wanted that for her. I didn't want anything to happen to her. And so I think I tried to like make the relationship work, and there were just so many reasons. Like, we were young and it just didn't work, right? Okay. Yeah. So
it happens.
So like when that didn't work, that was devastating, right? Yeah. And then I was like, oh my gosh, like now this is exactly what I didn't want to happen is exactly what has happened, right? So I'm a single mom, this little girl, broken, just like, what happened to my life? Yeah. And what happened to me, and then I felt like I lost myself being a mom. Because
we do.
And I was really young at the time, and no one was having kids when I had my daughter. None of my friends were having kids.
Like, Jen's got a baby, they're still going out.
Yeah, like everyone was out doing their thing. Like, I was really alone, so I felt so lonely. And
you would have felt more alone with social media back then.
Exactly, I would have been looking at everybody like, wow. But I was looking at this little baby, like, I don't even know how to be a mom. I don't even know how to be a woman. Like, I just felt so low, right? And I realized I didn't even love myself. I mean, I was at rock bottom, just emotionally, mentally, spiritually, in every sense of the way. Like it just was bad. So I think when you hit a low point, any low point, you naturally, look for the positive and take that and let that go. And I decided this time, like, I was going to be better because of this, right? I was never going to get to this place again. I was going to work my way out of this hole. Okay. And no matter how hard that was. And I didn't realize how hard that was really going to be.
Right. I gotta put in work.
And how long I thought, but then I was really committed to the process, because like the more I pressed in to like figure out what was wrong with me, well,
let's stop there though.
Yeah.
Nothing's wrong with you.
Nothing was, I guess that's a good way to rephrase it. Nothing was wrong with me, but I definitely had some deep-rooted issues.
Right.
And I went on a journey. I feel like I've talked about it, to just uncovering like what were the root, what was the cause of those issues, right? So I found out I was, abused as a child. My mom was in an abusive relationship, kind of throughout my childhood, and that I, saw, and it was just like, there were so many things that had happened, and like all of those things shape, who you are, like as an adult.
Whether you know it or not.
Whether you know it or not.
Yeah.
And you can look at that and say, I'm never going to get into a relationship like that, or I'm never going to do anything like that. And then you find yourself in the same situations, and so I really had to deal with those things and deal with like a lot of lies that I believed about my identity. And that was really hard. So first thing I did was I acknowledged that I didn't love myself or value myself. And that's why I kept getting into situations that it was almost like I subconsciously was like choosing relationships or situations to reinforce how I felt about myself, right? Like,
it becomes a cycle.
I would choose relationships or get into situations or whatever that didn't value me, that mistreated me, and then be left with like, oh, see, they don't value me. Look how I'm being treated.
Right. Must be me.
It must be me. Must be me. So it like reinforced like that lie.
But you know what? It's them.
It's them.
It's them.
But I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And so I had to, my faith is huge. And at that time, it was me and God.
Yeah.
Because I didn't have any friends. I didn't have anyone in my life that could help me. Like sometimes you get to that rock bottom place and there's no one that can actually help you out of that hell. There's no one actually that can help you out of that hole other than God. And I think it's either you choose to, say, okay, well, I'm going to distract myself. Because a lot of people were like, oh, just go out, go date, go do this, go out.
It's not that easy.
And I was like, no, because when I'm going to date someone and then I never properly healed from this, and that's what a lot of times we do, then we never take time to really deal with and heal properly. And then we just get into another relationship and the same cycle. Yeah. Same thing happens, whether it's 2 years, whether it's 5 years, it doesn't last because you never really took the time for yourself.
Right.
So that's when I went on
Unless you find a man who's like, we're going to get through this together.
That's true. But I do think that there is something to be said of like being with yourself. For me, before any man, and loving myself, being content with myself, and not needing a man to validate me in any way. And I needed that. And I think even my celibacy journey, which I've talked about, I decided it was going to be me and God. I was like, God, you're going to heal me. I believe supernaturally, all this stuff, it's got to go. With my daddy issues, my mommy issues, I'm really messed up. Yeah. I finally saw myself and I was like, oh my God, I was like, you're a mess.
But it's so hard for people to look in the mirror and admit
I'm really screwed up. And then I was like, wow, am I too damaged?
No.
Am I too messed up?
No, ever.
But I really did feel like that for a long time. I felt like, wow, all this stuff happened to me and it wasn't by choice, but it just happened. And am I ever going to be able to just be healthy, have love myself, just be comfortable with me. am I ever going to be able to do that?
Oh, yeah.
Because, and so, I was very intentional about, you know, the ways of trying to, like, I didn't know how I was going to do it, but I was like, we are going to love ourselves, okay? So the first thing I did was, you know, like prayer, you know, is everything. My relationship with God is, and it's not like a church thing. It's not like I had to do it or whatever, but it's really talking to God like a person. Mm-hmm. And I am so thankful. I think the good that came out of that is like my relationship with God and like real intimacy, not like physical intimacy with like a person, but like actually like him filling me, you know, and loving me, and you know, my identity being rooted and grounded in him. Mm-hmm. And so that time with him was so precious. And, you know, I had to write down, like, I wrote down all the lies that I believed. Like,
of yourself?
Of myself. Like, I was like at this paper that I still have. And at first when I wrote down all of the lies and then I wrote down the truth, like I would say, you know, I'm not worthy, right? So I wrote, the truth is like, I am worthy. I am lovable. Like I had all these things, and I would literally cry because it was painful. It was like so painful for me to say that, like
out loud and just to see
about
it.
Myself. And
it's almost like not a bully to yourself, but
because my internal atmosphere, what was on a replay was all of these negative words for so long. So my whole being was rooted in that, you know.
That was a step to get from rock
and
bottom.
So I had to say it every day before I even, like, maybe for like a year. I would sit there and it was like I would cry because I didn't believe that I was any of those things. And then I just knew if I kept saying it about myself, then somehow that was going to, like, we're going to rewire the way you think, Jennifer, because this is not right. And we don't want to be here, and we don't want to choose wrong things for ourselves anymore. So I think it was just about consistency for me and to keep doing it even when I felt like it wasn't working. And it's something that I still take into now. Like I have to, you know, write those things down and say them over myself because, you know, especially being in the industry, being a public person, people say all kind of things about you, good or bad.
Oh,
right?
Yeah. And you just don't listen to any of them.
But it really doesn't matter, good or bad, what someone says about you. It really matters only what you think.
What you think.
And so
or your tribe thinks.
Yeah. So that was I was like, okay, so I just need to get this inside myself.
Yes.
You know, and
you know you more than anybody.
But I would say from that, I learned all of these different tools, you know, to get myself out of a rock bottom place.
So, but
or a low place.
Did you have those things against you before you thought you hit rock bottom, and you just carried them with you and then you hit rock bottom?
What do you mean? Wait, say it again.
Like, did you think that all these things that you thought of yourself, I'm not worthy, I'm not this, did you have that before you hit rock bottom?
No, I did not. I was not aware.
So you thought you were the bomb and you were the best thing in the world and da-da-da-da-da.
I never, no, I rephrase that. I didn't really think I wasn't in great shape, right? I mean, I feel like I was a little bit aware of certain things, but I just kept it moving, right? I kept it moving, and so
you didn't acknowledge.
I didn't acknowledge that because I'm like, oh, I'm fine, like great, like I have family, I have this, I have that, I'm doing this. Look how happy I am. Okay. So it was more like that, and then when that happened, then I was like, all right, I was forced to be with myself.
Yeah, girl. Especially when you took that oath of celibacy.
Yeah, and I mean, I didn't expect it to go on so long. And let me say this about celibacy, because I think everyone has like their own thing about it. For me, celibacy was really important because I needed to just really be with myself. And because I was sexually abused and just a lot of other things that had happened in my childhood, sexual abuse. I needed to heal from that.
Yeah.
Before I was with anyone, and intimacy and
value
and value myself. And so I felt like that was the way of like, turning that off and like really giving that space
smart.
to God. And so everyone has their different journey with that. And there's nothing wrong with that. You can stop, you can start. There's no like, you're not going to go to heaven or hell if you're not celibate. If you are celibate, I just don't want anyone to feel like condemned or bad or anything.
But it was your best for you.
But it was, and everyone has their own journey. So that was what I had to do for myself. Wow. And it was definitely a process. But
to be with yourself.
To be with myself. But I'm so thankful I did that.
Yeah.
So thankful I did that.
Awesome.
Yeah. So, yeah.
I like that. Yeah. I remember we were sitting on the couch and you're like, I've been celibate for like 10 something years. And I was like, what? Oh my gosh.
Because
a woman of faith.
Because I think that I got so content with
that's beautiful. That's a beautiful thing. You know, some people, that's a beautiful thing.
Thank you.
Take that as like an accomplishment. I mean, somewhat.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I know
but you know what I
mean.
mean?
Yeah.
Like, the lure of having someone or thinking someone might care about you would be so strong when that's what you're searching for. And that's what you're searching for, but you weren't lured in that direction.
No, yeah, I didn't want that.
It's an accomplishment.
Oh,
yeah,
thanks,
I'm proud of you.
Yes. Oh,
I'm proud of you.
Well, thank you.
So that's how you got out of that low point.
Yeah, that's how I got out of that low point.
Good
so I would
for
say
you.
that not every rock bottom place in your life is a bad thing, because although that was so devastating and painful, it was such a pivotal moment in my life. It was almost like a reawakening.
Yeah.
And I don't think if that hadn't happened in that way, because I really wanted to do the work on myself, because I just looked at my daughter's face. Like, I would sit there. This is so sad. I would sit there and look at her and just cry, because I felt like I had just disappointed her. I felt like I was going to be like a disappointment as like a mother to her. And so I just really wanted to be better. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I completely can relate to this, because that just reminds me of another rock bottom that I had. I didn't realize I had postpartum depression. And I kept crying, and crying and crying. And I remember I was dropping my daughter off for school, and I had just had my son, and I had to pull over because I was crying so bad and I didn't know why. And then I came home and I told my husband, and he's like, guys, some of them understand, some of them don't, not because they don't want to, they just don't understand. And he's like, oh, do you need like a break? And I just knew something was wrong. Never suicidal, nothing like that. But I took myself to the doctor, and he's like, honey, no. Because I walked in, and that's the thing. I walked into my doctor's appointment regarding these episodes that kept happening with my 2 children. And so he looked around the room, and he looked at me, and I just started crying, and he's like, no, honey, wow, you're not well. And so he diagnosed me with postpartum depression, had to go through these series of everything. And really after that, I understood, we don't have to be strong all the time. That was my rock bottom. And he gave me these things to do. You need to make time for yourself. Your kids will be fine. And I didn't realize that, because this is my second child. The first one, I was fine. I was okay. But the second one threw me rock bottom.
Yeah.
And I was sick and I didn't realize, like, I wasn't showering, like I wasn't seeing friends, like I just didn't care. Not that you should care about how you look, screw how you look, like who cares?
Yeah.
But really to make yourself feel better. So when he said you need to do something for yourself, your kids will be fine. That really hit home. I was like, oh my gosh. And this was a man talking to me. He's like,
Wow.
they'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Your family's going to figure it out. Go get your nails done. Go out to eat with your girlfriends. Right? Go get your hair done.
Yeah.
Do you know I took every single advice that he gave me? I took every single, I was like, step 1, Brett, next week, I have an appointment for my hair. After that, every other month, I have an appointment for my nails. And it took me a while to get out of that. But those steps of realizing that from what he told me, if my family's not well unless I'm well. That was huge and important to me. And I never knew what postpartum depression was until I went through it.
Right.
And that scared everything out of me.
Yeah.
So to get out of that rock bottom, when he told me that and he understood it and he saw it as a male doctor, I took every step that he gave me to get out of that hole. And I'm so grateful for that.
That's so important that we reach out for help in our times of rock bottom because, you can think that people don't care or I don't want to be a burden or, oh, it's not that bad.
Right. That's what I was afraid of.
Right. It's not that bad.
Yeah,
but
you're fine.
You went to the doctor, he immediately, saw what was going on and you got the help that you needed. And I think sometimes even in the Black community, don't want to open up about stuff like that, right? Or don't want to talk about mental health and get, therapy and all that stuff. I think now we're being a lot more open about it.
A lot more.
But in my mom's generation, you don't talk about that stuff.
Oh, no.
No,
my grandmother's generation? No, you don't know.
So
it's
therefore,
family business.
Yeah, it's family. So it's you just, continue to go through life and, rock bottom stuff happens and you keep on going. But you never actually deal with those, that stuff that is there, right? And so, it carries over. It's going to show up later on in life where
it's going to show up.
Or, you just have a breakdown one day, it all catches up to you. And...
Been there.
Okay, let's hear it.
I was in the middle of Hollywood. I don't know if I've told this story before. I was in the middle of Hollywood and I dropped. I had a panic attack. I didn't know what happened. I dropped in the middle of Hollywood. I had to be rushed to the hospital. Yeah, that was awesome. Didn't know what was happening. And the doctor was like, have you been under stress lately? I was like, nothing past the usual. And she's like, no, honey, you had a panic attack. I couldn't hear anything. I couldn't see anything. I couldn't feel anything. I thought I was dying. Heart was racing, blacked out, rushed to the hospital.
That's crazy. So what do you think happened?
I think our bodies know. You're so in tune with your body. And I think I'm right behind you. Yeah. But we're the same as we work, right? And we take on so much because we can. But our bodies are like, no, the hell you can.
Yeah, it's even if our mind is we can do it. We could do it. Sure, I got that. We can do that. We can do that too. And pretty soon all of that, it's just too much.
It's too much.
On top of just where we are in life, right now with COVID and just all the different things. It's a lot, with the pressures of life. And so I think at this point, in our lives, it's okay, we can do it all, but saying no is okay too. And I think that we've both had.
Yeah. I say no a lot now.
Yeah.
No, you're cool. No, check you next week. Maybe you. Yeah.
I'm still working on it.
Yes.
I think I've definitely gotten a lot better at saying no. But I think that has been very, very important about, just not taking on too much and setting boundaries. Boundaries. And
boundaries will help you, not get to the rock bottom of too much, of taking on too much. Not an emotional part of rock bottom or certain circumstances of rock. Yeah.
Right.
I agree.
Yeah.
I definitely agree.
Yeah. I agree too. Yeah.
Whew.
Man.
Well, that was deep, Jen. Gosh.
That was deep.
I guess that's why we're here, to get deep.
Okay.
Well, to the generation now that doesn't have to really be alone in voicing, and I hope people out there understand that, reach out, talk to people.
Right.
We are all going through the same thing. You're not alone. You would be surprised with the amount of people around you going through the same stuff.
Very true.
And I really commend this generation for opening up and having mental awareness and just vulnerability.
Yeah, and
It's a beautiful thing.
Not feeling ashamed about that at
Heck
all.
No. I was in the hospital for breaking down the middle of Hollywood Boulevard. Cool. Not ashamed.
It's not funny, but the way she said it, guys.
Not break down like that on Hollywood Boulevard.
She's so silly. No, but it's real. You know, life gets, you know, that's the beauty about life, right? It's like, you know, we go through the highs and the lows. The lows make you appreciate the highs. And
yes.
You know, what this podcast is about is being free. So it's about like really going through every experience in life and growing from that experience, you know, and so we can be more free. And
take a sentence of that past chapter into the next. That's all. You don't need the whole thing to come with you, but learn from it.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. I think the best thing not the best thing, but the important thing, you know, in rock bottom is that you move forward.
You move forward.
I mean, I definitely... You know this. I've gotten to points in my life where I didn't want to move forward.
I know.
Yeah. And that's not a good place to be. And that, you know, feeling alone and being alone and isolating yourself in those moments is not what you need to do. So, like, reaching out for help when you feel like that, you know, whether it's a pastor, whether it's a friend, I mean, you know, whoever it is, you need to talk about it. Yeah. You know, not be alone with your thoughts.
I agree.
You know,
because it'll land you in the ER, it'll land you somewhere else.
Yeah,
and that your family won't.
And our life everybody's life is valuable. You know,
we're valuable.
We're here for a purpose. I really believe that about everyone. No one's a mistake. So
no one's a mistake.
Yes.
Because you can come out of rock bottom.
You can.
Cheers. Love you.
Love you too.